Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. This is the post game reaction show where we will talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what was missing for Mississippi State in their 41-31 loss to Georgia. A lot of things to unpack here, a lot of things to talk about. Austin, dude, what a day of college football. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, it's 12:28 a.m. as we're filming this on Saturday night. I mean, technically Sunday morning, but yeah, dude, what a great day. It was so fun to do. And last week I really missed the Bulldogs, and this week they came to play. Just instant reaction, man. This is the best I've felt for a post game reaction since the. I mean, I guess you can say Eastern Kentucky, but I mean, we knew we were going to blow them out. So I mean, I think it's the best I've felt all season. What fight? The boys went out there and fought in Athens. Big time game. Looked sold out to me. We really fought. I mean, the offense and defense, they played the best. I feel like almost the best they could. Like you said, we will get to the right, wrong, and missing on every single element. But I mean, I have a good feeling about this game. Mississippi State fans. I mean, we talked about it last week. I mean, my prediction for this game was 45-13, and I mean, it was what 41-31, something like that. I think it was 41-31. I mean, the fight in these guys, I didn't see that offensively. I thought we were going to score one touchdown and two field goals, and then we go out there and drop 31 points. I'm so proud to be a Mississippi State fan. I truly am. And I'm so excited to see what this team has in store for the future. Not this year, but in the next year, in the next 2 years. But what a great game. We still need to establish the running game a little bit more. Passing the ball. Michael Van Buren, man, he was throwing it down deep. Jeff Lebby from day one's been talking about that. We haven't had that. Dan Mullen didn't do that. Mike Leach didn't do that. Joe Moorhead didn't really throw the ball downfield a whole lot. And for sure, Kevin Barbay didn't do anything offensively. So, I mean, it was really, really fun to see that today. And against one of the best defenses in the country, talent-wise, they might be the best when you just look at, like, composite rankings for all these players. But I was really proud to be a Mississippi State fan today. Michael Van Buren is the future. Jeff Lebby, I think, is the future.
Yeah, I want to take Mississippi State fans back just for a second, and let's pretend it's September 14th. Mississippi State's just been blown out by Toledo, and I remember, and many other fans as well were doing the same thing. Looked at the schedule and saw at Texas, at Georgia, and we're thinking, I mean, if we're getting blown out by Toledo, like what do we expect for the future? We were looking at these two games thinking, I mean, literally these teams could score as much as they want to. We're not going to score. And so if I would have pulled fans aside and said, look, you're going to lose by 10 on the road in Athens. Would you take it? And 100% of them first would not believe me, but second off would say, absolutely. Let's ride. I think one of the biggest takeaway from this game, and like I said, we're going to get to our right, wrong, and missing segment here in just a second. Talk about what went right for the Bulldogs, what went wrong, and what was missing. Is this the scheme? We've been saying this for a while. The scheme for Jeff Lebby's offense. This is going to work. They don't have the players in play, but here's the best example of it I can do. How many times did you see a play design where a wide receiver had an opportunity to make a catch, but for whatever reason, maybe the quarterback was offline, or maybe the offensive line just let too many people through, and Van Buren couldn't get the ball out? The scheme is there. The players just have to go out and execute, and Mississippi State needs better players. We all we all know that. But this was one of the best examples of what Jeff Lebby's offense can do. If they did not have to keep scoring and keep teams from scoring in 35 plus and 40 plus, this might be something different. But it's remarkable to think about what this team did. And I know we're not going to lean too heavy on moral victories. Mississippi State they're 1-5. They're 1-5. They are without a win in the conference. They're the worst team in the SEC. That's important to say out loud. But it's also important not to stay there and just say this team's really bad and kind of move on with it. Georgia is a team that might be in the playoff. A win next Saturday, and they're going to be front runners in there to obviously be leading the SEC, but also be kind of front and center for the playoff. Um, Austin, let's move into our what went right, what went wrong, and what was missing for the Bulldogs segment. I'll start us off. What went right for Mississippi State? The first thing I can say, Michael Van Buren is the guy. They found a quarterback that can battle. We talked about this Wednesday with Neil McCready, having him on the show. Go back and listen to that one because, funny enough, some of the things we talked about that could happen in this game and other games this weekend actually ended up happening. We talked about Florida playing Tennessee very close. Talked about Ole Miss possibly losing on the road. And then talked about what the best case scenario is for Mississippi State. So go back and listen to that. But one of the things that we talked about is Michael Van Buren as a true freshman, 18-year-old guy, going on the road at Texas, going on the road at Georgia. There is literally no harder 2-game stretch to start out with. On top of that, Michael Van Buren apparently has a main event WrestleMania match with Kirby Smart later on. Now that Kirby started the pushing and shoving, that's interesting. But Michael Van Buren showed he is a gamer. For the game, he was 20 of 37, not amazing. 306 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he did throw an interception that was not great. And when I tell you guys, and fans saw this, he had no help on running the ball. Like there was nobody getting anywhere. And I know, like, Georgia's really good. We understand that. What went right for the Bulldog for Mississippi State? They know this is the guy. They can lean on him. This is his second career start, and he's a true freshman. Think about what Jeff Lebby can do. So what went right? The Bulldogs found their quarterback.
I like that. I like that, and just what you said about that reaction about Jeff Lebby, that's going to be my right. It's just one word, Lebby. I think that there's been a lot of talk the past 3-4 weeks about Jeff Lebby and the future of this program. But I mean, people in the media kept saying like, "Hey, this is our guy now. Like, we have to accept this for at least 2 years." And Mississippi State fans, a lot of them don't like it, but after this week, you need to start believing. Like you said, schematically, offense especially. I mean, Michael Van Buren, he missed out on some throws. I mean, we'll be honest, we'll say it, but I mean, like schematically, there were some great play calls. And I look forward to the rest of the season with Jeff Lebby just to see what he can do. And this is only his first year, guys. He did not have a lot of time and have a lot of materials to build this roster. And you can see it on the field. The personnel is just clearly not there. I mean, we desperately need a better running back. We desperately need a better offensive line and really just better offense in general. But these young guys are just going to get older. They're just going to get more experienced. Offensively, we're not losing a whole lot of talent. And if we are losing it, it's talent that we can lose. And defensively, I mean, Coleman Hutzler, you can say what you want about Coleman Hutzler. The past 2 weeks, I haven't been very mad at him. And especially this week, his one of Coleman Hutzler's sayings is get 6. If you get 6 turnovers in the game, you're probably going to win the game. And turnover wise, we've been doing a great job. I feel like, in this game alone, Diego Broomfield had an interception in the end zone. Bryce Pollock had that. The ball was tipped while Brandon Jennings had that interception. And we got to get to. Let's be honest. Every other game other than UMass that we win is an upset. We're 1-4, 1-5. It's an upset if we beat A&M next week. It is. It is. And for us to pull one of those off, we got to get turnovers. We got to force turnovers and got to make other teams uncomfortable. And this defense is really locked in and played a whole lot better these next 2 weeks, but they need to keep it up. And we still need a lot of things to touch up on. But Jeff Lebby, I think, is the right guy.
Absolutely. And I'll say an honorable mention for what went right for Mississippi State, their rush defense versus Georgia. Now, I know you look on paper, they gave up 146 total rushing yards, which isn't, it's not a ton. But listen to this. Take out the one run by Anthony Evans, the third, who had a 52-yard run, just a long gashing run. Take that one play out, and you're talking about 94 total yards on 28 rushes. That's not getting gashed, and that's holding Georgia to 3.3 yards of play. Take out one big play. So the run defense, all in all, like could have been in a much worse position. Especially Trevor Etienne averaged about 3 yards a carry and had 35 total yards. Branson Robinson, the former number 1 player in Mississippi, who scorned Ole Miss and Mississippi State, went to Georgia. which he's had some injury problems, but only 12 total yards. So that is an honorable mention. Mississippi State's, in particular, the run defense. Austin, what went wrong for Mississippi State in this game?
So that I mean that parallels perfect. You said talking about good about the run defense. I mean the wrong was the pass defense. Carson Beck had a career high in passing yards, and you're not going to beat any team that I mean has their quarterback's best game. And I mean I guess this is the second year starting, but still he's played a lot of football, and we're letting him get so many yards. Yeah, he threw the ball a lot, but still, I mean, there's so many open plays, especially in that second half when they just, I mean, Kirby Smart just wanted to run up the score because, I mean, he knew how bad we were and didn't want it to be close. And I mean, but I mean, credit to them, they were able to do that. I mean, our pass defense was pretty rough. I mean, there was so many times. I mean, Carson Beck had just so much time throwing downfield, and then when he threw the ball, I mean, he was wide spanking open, wide open. And so that really hurt to watch. And I mean, like Carson Beck just carved up our defense, and obviously you saw him; they dropped 41 points on us. And so we gotta do something about that. But another thing, that's personnel. I mean, we got guys. I don't even want to talk about that play by Brian Lanier, who just let him let up. I don't know what was going on. I don't even want to hear any excuse. But we got guys like that. And when we have got better guys in this system, maybe something can happen, but we'll see. But yeah, the pass defense was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was rough, especially if you holding their run or their rushing attack to what Mississippi State did. I mean, goodness gracious, yeah, they gave up 459 yards. They did get two interceptions, but forcing Carson Beck to throw 48 passes is something else. So, before we get to the next part of what went wrong, you think about a lot of people talk about being rich and wanting to be rich, but what does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Skip Langley is your Batesville, Mississippi Edward Jones advisor, serving clients in the area and across the state of Mississippi. Count on him for financial strategies that can help support a life you love. Because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact him today at 662 563 9843, and together you can find your rich. Edward Jones, member SIPC. The other part of what went wrong for me is I won't spend too much more time on this because you kind of spoke to it. The defense is just bad. You cannot consistently give up 40 plus points, and I know that the level of competition is really really good. I understand that, but goodness, especially having three turnovers in the game. I think it's a three is just being this bad is rough, and in some sense, and I want to say that they've gotten better, but on the other, it's like, man, it's a really bad defense, and we know that. I mean, we can every game they've played outside of the very first one, we could just say that every time. They've got a lot of work to do. They're working hard in recruiting. They seem to be making some headway defensively recruiting, but there's some players not giving a lot of effort. We'll move over to what was missing for Mississippi State in this game, and for me, it's the run game. I mean, Michael Van Buren, he played a good game, but he had no help. Davon Booth, 32 yards rushing on 10 carries. Johnny Daniels, 9 carries, 29 yards. He did have that touchdown, and that's it. That's it. 79 total yards. And it's just not going to get it done. And some of this, I mean, some of this, I want to say is the remarkable talent on Georgia. I get all that. I know that's a part of it, but you have to have people helping you out a little bit more. Hopefully, some of their the transfer portal decisions, who they brought in, I don't know, maybe a different type of player. They just don't have a lot of speed, and they tried two different jet sweeps with Kevin Coleman and Mario Craver, and Craver had 2 yards, Coleman got 1. You said it a lot, Austin. That's just not going to work in the SEC. There's too much speed on the outside with the defensive ends and the cornerbacks. There's no way. It's not going to work. So the run game was what was missing. Think about this. If Mississippi State was able to run the ball for 150 yards in this game, it's possible this is a different ball game. Maybe not a complete different outcome, but it's very possible this is a different game. Um, it's amazing. Honestly, it really is incredible. Mississippi State stayed this close without being able to run the ball effectively in this game. What was missing for you, Austin, in this game for Mississippi State?
Yeah, it's I'm just this is getting I'm just tiring at this point, but it's just the line in general, offensive and defensive line. I mean, gosh, dude, it's just so hard to watch. I mean, I want to say especially on, but honestly, both offense and defense, it's just I've never seen anything like it by any other team. It's unbelievable. And when we were playing Eastern Kentucky, I remember hearing people say, "This is the weakest line we're going to play," and we looked bad against them. And when I heard that, I got real nervous. But I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is just it's terrible. No push defensively. Carson Beck, the only reason he was able to get those much yards is because he has however long he wants to throw that ball. And literally, like every time he threw it, it's not like he was like he had to throw it at the last second. It's just right when he saw somebody open. So I mean, you can't even get on the secondary for that much just because the defensive line, we don't have a whole lot of bodies in that defensive line. There's no depth there at all right now. But, I mean, it's just so bad. And then the offensive line, the run game, I mean, it really this goes hand in hand with the run game. There's just no offensive push. I mean, it's so bad. Offensively, when we're passing the ball, we have no pass rush. We have no run, like run protection. It's so hard to watch. I mean, we've tried guys, and I like that Luke Work came in there at left tackle for Makai Pounders, which was a good move. But even that, Luke Work, he's a true freshman playing in Athens. He had 2 false start penalties. Stuff like that's going to happen by a true freshman. But it's good that we're having these guys get reps. But I mean, I don't know what Levy, and Cody Kennedy had to do, but they gotta do something because A&M, I mean, they got some massive guys up front. Ole Miss got some massive guys up front. I mean, we're just going to get crushed by these better teams, and we saw that against literally everybody we've played, offensively and defensively, has been absolutely missing every single week.
I'm glad you brought up A&M. Got a particular take when it comes to that game, but we will get to that later on in the week. We got some other stuff before then. But to put a bow on this game, Mississippi State loses at 41-31 versus number 5 Georgia, and Georgia come Monday will be even higher in the rankings after Ohio State falls. Mississippi State has a lot to build on. There are some things to be excited about. If you're a Mississippi State fan, somehow this is the hardest stretch they will go with going on the road at number 1 Texas, no, on the road at number 5 Georgia, then A&M this upcoming week. It, I believe, is easier than going on the road at Tennessee, home Missouri, at Ole Miss to finish the season. That is a pretty daunting end of the season for anybody else. But Mississippi State's, it seems like they have faced the toughest thing they will do. I think Mississippi State has got some momentum. I know they lost this game, but recruits can now see, okay, I can see a little bit of what he's talking about. There's some momentum. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's reason for Bulldog fans to come to this upcoming home game. Like beforehand, might not have been a great reason, but now they know, okay, I'm at least going to see some offense. We're going to see, missed tackles on defense, but and probably a lot of points given up, but we are going to see an offense that can move the ball. And that's exciting for Mississippi State fans. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening to the reaction show post Georgia to hear what went right for Mississippi State, what went wrong, and what was missing. Stay tuned for this week. We got a lot of great shows this week. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. It's just at MyDawgsPod. That's how you can know about the most what's upcoming on our schedule. Make sure you also like and subscribe to MPW Digital, pushing for 10,000 subscriptions, which is huge. This was a crazy Saturday, and we knew it was going to be crazy Saturday. We got a lot to discuss this week because some of the things that happened this week have got some ramifications down the road that are going to be huge. So make sure you're tuned in and subscribe to MPW Digital. So many shows coming this week. Make sure you are listening to My Dogs Are Barking. We'll give you some perspective on Mississippi State, but also we'll give you our matchups and picks show. We had a couple go right this week, man. We had a couple of our upsets, some money line picks go right. So that's always good. Austin, man, what a Saturday! It was wonderful, dude. You want to close us out?
Was. Yeah, man. Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for watching, guys, on the MPW Digital. And yeah, I mean, Hell State. It was a great Saturday, and yeah, that's it. That's it.